right, Bills Mafia, gather around because today we're diving deep into one of those areas that might not get all the flashy headlines, but can absolutely swing games in the NFL, special teams. And let's be honest, for the last couple of years, Buffalo's special teams haven't exactly been the gold standard. If you've been following the Bills closely, you know there have been moments where those units cost us field position, points, and maybe even a game or two. But here we are in 2025, and there's a very real sense that the team is trying to flip that script. The formula this year is all about tightening those margins. And if you want to win in this league, those margins matter a ton. Let's start with the biggest shakeup, the coaching change. Matthew Smiley is gone. And it's wild because when he first took over, the Bills' special teams were actually excellent. But back-to-back seasons of sloppy execution, inconsistent coverage, and missed opportunities forced the team's hand. In 2024, Buffalo ranked bottom 10 in the league in kick return average, opponent kick return average, EPA per punt, and field goal percentage. The only two areas they managed to hit league average or better: punt returns and limiting opponent punt returns. That's not nearly enough if you want to win those close one-score games. Enter Chris Tabor, the new special teams coordinator. This is not some rookie trying to figure it out on the fly. This man's resume screams experience. We're talking 13 seasons as an NFL special teams coordinator, multiple stints with the Bears, years with the Browns, and recently with the Panthers. He's even been trusted to step in as an interim head coach in both Chicago and Carolina. That tells you everything about how much respect he's earned in the league. He's worked with some legends: Devin Hester, Phil Dawson, and the NFL Players Association actually voted him the second-best special teams coach in the entire league last season. Over 1,000 special teamers gave him that nod. Sean McDermott clearly wanted a steady, proven hand here. After trying two young, first-time coordinators in Heath Farwell and Matthew Smiley without getting the desired results, it was time to go with a guy who's been through the battles. Tabor even spent last year out of football, recharging, watching games, and being with his family. Now he's coming back fresh and ready. And you can feel the synergy between him and McDermott. There's genuine optimism that this move could make special teams a reason Buffalo wins games, rather than a reason they're clawing from behind. Of course, coaching alone won't fix everything. The roster has seen some notable departures. Sam Martin is gone at punter, saving the team some cap space, but leaving a big question mark at that position. Quintin Morris, the reserve tight end who logged the second-most special team snaps last season, is now in Jacksonville. Nicholas Morrow, a reserve linebacker, is gone as well. Valen Spector, 13th in special teams snaps despite battling injuries, has been waived and settled on an injury agreement. And Mac Hollins, whom many thought would be a special teams anchor, ended up being needed more at wide receiver, which cut into his contributions. But it's not all departures. A surprising number of core contributors are back. Reggie Gilliam led the team in special team snaps last year and brings that smash-mouth, tone-setting energy you love to see in the kicking game. Jamarcus Ingram, who might have been Buffalo's best special teamer in 2024, returns with over 300 snaps under his belt. Cam Lewis, a do-it-all depth defensive back who's been a high-volume special teams presence for multiple seasons, is still here and likely safe despite some preseason roster competition. Players like Joe Andre, Javon Solomon, Cole Bishop, and Dorian Williams are all positioned to continue making impacts in coverage and return units. The key now is figuring out how to redistribute those vacated snaps from guys like Morris and Hollins. Jackson Hom might be in line to grab a big chunk of those tight and special teams duties. At wide receiver, there's a battle brewing among Tyrell Shavers, Laviska Shenault, Jalen Virgil, and Christian Wilkerson for the back end of the roster, and special teams value will be a deciding factor. Edge defenders like Solomon and rookie Landon Jackson could be important under the league's new kickoff rules, with their size and speed making them valuable on both coverage and return blocking units. The linebacker depth beyond the starters will be critical too. Milano and Bernard won't be on special teams, so guys like Andre, Williams, and possibly undrafted rookie Kiana Jenkins will need to step up. In the secondary, the competition between Jordan Hancock, Dane Jackson, and Dorian Strong could also determine who takes key special teams roles. The puzzle is still coming together, but the depth chart is already looking more promising than it did at first glance. Then there's the return game, which is still a bit unsettled. Brandon Codrington is probably the best pure returner on the roster right now, but he doesn't offer much else in terms of offensive or coverage value, which is a problem when you're trying to maximize roster spots. Shenault brings versatility and can help in coverage, but has almost no punt return experience. KJ Hamler has the speed, but his ball security and decision-making are questionable. Daquan Hardy is intriguing, though past mistakes in preseason show he's still a work in progress. The fallback options? Khalil Shakir on punts, with Ty Johnson and rookie Ray Davis on kickoffs. A safe and dependable combo if the team doesn't want to gamble on fringe return specialists. Kicker is also an area to watch. Tyler Bass seemed to get back on track late last season, but he's now dealing with a pelvis issue that's kept him off the field for weeks. The Bills brought in Caden Davis, an undrafted rookie with solid college numbers, but trusting him in high-pressure spots right away is risky. If Bass can't go, one name to monitor is Younghoe Koo from the Falcons, a proven veteran who might shake free in roster cuts if Atlanta goes with younger competition. And finally, punter. Brad Robbins is the guy right now after beating out Jay Camarda in camp. His rookie year with the Bengals was statistically rough, dead last in EPA per punt, but early preseason work in Buffalo has looked solid, with good hang time and placement inside the 20. He won't suddenly be one of the league's elite, but the Bills don't necessarily need that. They just need reliable execution and clean holding for field goals. The truth is, special teams might not get the same love as Josh Allen throwing deep bombs or Von Miller chasing quarterbacks. But in the razor-thin margins of the NFL, flipping the field, stealing hidden yards, and nailing kicks can be the difference between January heartbreak and a deep playoff run. Buffalo knows it. That's why they brought in Chris Tabor. That's why roster spots are being earned through coverage tackles and blocking lanes. And that's why this part of the game might just be the Bills' secret weapon in 2025. Chris Tabor knows that better than anyone. His teams over the years have been known for discipline, creativity, and consistency. 3 words you couldn't always use to describe Buffalo's units in the last 2 seasons. You could sense from his first camp practices that he was bringing a veteran's detail-oriented approach. Every rep had a purpose. There was no dead time between drills. Players weren't just going through the motions. They were being coached on angles, hand placement, and situational awareness. That's how you eliminate those small breakdowns that turn into big plays for the opponent. And those breakdowns have been costly for Buffalo in recent years. A missed lane on kickoff coverage leads to a 40-yard return that flips the script on field position. A blocked punt here, a shanked one there. Suddenly you're asking Josh Allen to work with 85 yards of turf in front of him instead of 65. It might seem like a small difference in the moment, but in a game decided by 1 or 2 possessions, that's the margin that can tilt the outcome. One of the most intriguing parts of this overhaul is how much of the 2024 special teams core is still intact, even with the notable departures. Reggie Gilliam is the enforcer. Every season, he seems to deliver at least one bone-jarring hit or force a fumble that gets the sideline fired up. Jamarcus Ingram has developed into a true ace in coverage, using his length and speed to close down return lanes. Cam Lewis remains one of the most versatile depth pieces on the roster, able to fill in at multiple defensive back spots while still logging heavy special team snaps without a drop-off. That kind of multi-role capability is gold when you're building a 53-man roster. Then you've got players on the rise like Joe Andre, who has the physicality to be a weapon on kick coverage, and Javon Solomon, who has an edge rusher brings that burst and closing speed to coverage units. Cole Bishop might see his special teams reps cut if he locks down a starting safety role, but his presence in certain packages could still be valuable. And Dorian Williams is almost tailor-made for this phase of the game. Rangy, fast, and physical, with a knack for finding the football in space. Of course, you can't talk special teams without talking about the return game, and right now, it's an open competition that's as much about roster construction as it is about who can make the biggest play. Brandon Codrington is electric with the ball in his hands. Quick acceleration, good vision, and the ability to hit a crease. But on a roster as deep as Buffalo's, being just a returner might not be enough to survive final cuts. That's where guys like Laviska, Shenault have a real chance to sneak in. Even without a long resume of return work, Shenault can play gunner on punt coverage, contribute in kick coverage, and line up on offense in certain packages. That's value. KJ Hamler is the wild card. He's got straight line speed that could turn a routine kickoff into a game-breaking play, but the inconsistency and questionable decisions with the football make coaches nervous. And then there's Daquin Hardy, still raw, but with an energy and aggressiveness that's tough to coach. The question is whether he can learn to channel that without hurting the team with risky choices. And if none of them step up, Buffalo isn't afraid to go to its safety net. Khalil Shakir as a punt returner might not bring the same pure explosiveness as a specialist, but he's sure-handed, decisive, and smart with the football. Ty Johnson and Ray Davis are both solid options on kickoff returns, and neither would be a liability. Sometimes reliability is more valuable than potential fireworks. The kicking situation is one that could quietly become one of the season's biggest storylines. Tyler Bass has been the guy since 2020, known for his leg strength and clutch kicks, but this pelvis injury has cast a shadow over the position. You can't underestimate how much rhythm and timing matter for a kicker. Missing weeks of camp reps isn't ideal. Caden Davis is a developmental option, but the gap between hitting in college and doing it in the NFL with the pressure, the narrower hash marks, and the speed of the game is enormous. That's why a veteran like Younghoe Koo could be appealing if he becomes available. He's proven he can hit at a high percentage over multiple seasons, and while his 2024 numbers dipped, context matters. He was dealing with a hip injury and a shaky special teams unit in Atlanta. If Buffalo wants a safety net in case Bass's recovery drags or his performance wobbles early, Koo would make a lot of sense. Then there's punter, where Brad Robbins has been handed the job after a rocky rookie season in Cincinnati. The numbers from last year aren't pretty, dead last in EPA per punt, but a change of scenery, coaching, and scheme can make a difference. Early signs in camp and the preseason have been promising. His ball placement has been better, his hang time more consistent, and he's shown touch inside the 20. It's not about turning him into the league's best punter overnight, but about eliminating the glaring mistakes that flip field position in the wrong direction. If he can also handle holding duties cleanly for field goals and extra points, that's a big plus. The truth is, none of this happens in isolation. Special team success is tied to the bottom half of the roster, and that's where competition is fiercest. Those final receiver spots, backup linebacker jobs, and reserve defensive backs. They'll be won or lost not on offensive or defensive snaps, but on how well those players perform in kick coverage, punt protection, and return blocking. Chris Tabor's job is as much about identifying those contributors as it is about drawing up the right schemes. And don't underestimate the ripple effect. A confident return unit changes how an opponent punts the football. A reliable kicker changes late-game decision-making for Sean McDermott. A coverage team that consistently pins opponents deep forces offenses to string together long drives just to get points. That's stress you're putting on the other team before your defense even takes the field. This is where championship-caliber teams separate themselves. You can have a top-5 offense, a top-5 defense, and still get bounced early in the playoffs because your special teams get outplayed in the margins. Buffalo's brass clearly believes that with the right coach, the right personnel, and a sharper focus, this can go from a weakness to a legitimate edge. In a year where the AFC is as loaded as ever, any edge, no matter how small, could be the difference between what could have been season and the one that finally ends with confetti falling in February. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. A surprising buzz has started swirling around the NFL world as rumors intensify regarding Kyle Shanahan's potential move to the Buffalo Bills. Known widely as the offensive mastermind behind the San Francisco 49ers' dynamic attack, Shanahan's name is now being linked to Orchard Park, sending shockwaves through fans and analysts alike. While nothing official has been announced yet, Sources close to the situation suggest that Shanahan's innovative play calling and strategic vision could be exactly what the Bills need to push their offense to the next level. The Bills have long been searching for that extra edge to break through the AFC's toughest defenses, and Shanahan's reputation for creativity and precision could be the catalyst to unlock their full potential. The prospect of him bringing his unique offensive schemes to Buffalo has sparked plenty of speculation, with insiders hinting that negotiations might already be underway behind closed doors, though no formal deal has been confirmed publicly. If this deal comes to fruition, it would represent a major shakeup in the NFL coaching landscape and a bold move by the Bills to solidify their status as serious Super Bowl contenders. Speculation is running wild about what a Shanahan-led offense would look like in Buffalo, given his proven track record transforming the 49ers into one of the league's most potent scoring units. Fans and commentators have started to draw comparisons between the Bills' current offensive style and the possibilities Shanahan's approach could unlock, envisioning a more versatile, unpredictable attack that could wreak havoc on opposing defenses. There is chatter that the Bills' front office sees Shanahan's coaching philosophy as a perfect fit for Josh Allen's skill set, potentially elevating the quarterback's play to unprecedented heights. This rumor gains even more traction when considering Shanahan's ability to develop young talent and adapt his game plans to maximize the strengths of his roster. The potential pairing of Shanahan and Allen is already being dubbed a game-changer in some circles, sparking discussions about Buffalo's chances not just in the upcoming season, but for years to come. While the deal remains unconfirmed, insiders suggest that Shanahan's arrival could signal a new era of offensive innovation in Orchard Park, sparking excitement and anticipation among the Bills' fan base. Industry insiders are closely watching how this rumored move could disrupt the coaching dynamics across the league. Shanahan's departure from San Francisco, if it happens, would leave a significant void in the 49ers' offensive strategy, prompting speculation about who might fill those shoes. Meanwhile, the Bills' possible acquisition of Shanahan is being viewed as a strategic coup that could have ripple effects on the AFC East and beyond. Analysts are debating whether this could trigger a domino effect, prompting other teams to rethink their offensive coordinators and coaching approaches in response. The timing of these rumors aligns intriguingly with the NFL's off-season movements, leading to widespread conjecture that the Bills are aggressively positioning themselves for a championship run. Rumors suggest that Shanahan's willingness to embrace the challenge of Buffalo's roster and his keen eye for innovative tactics might have been the deciding factors in potential contract discussions. As the NFL coaching carousel spins faster, the Shanahan to Bills story is becoming one of the hottest topics, blending hope, speculation, and a touch of drama into the league's evolving narrative. Meanwhile, fans on social media and sports talk shows have erupted with theories and excitement over the possibility of Shanahan joining the Bills. The buzz includes everything from predictions about play-calling changes to speculations on how Shanahan's offensive style could reshape Buffalo's identity. Enthusiasts are sharing hypothetical scenarios about improved rushing attacks, creative use of tight ends, and enhanced passing schemes designed to exploit mismatches. The community's anticipation has turned Shanahan's potential signing into a trending topic, with hashtags and discussion threads exploring every angle of what this move might mean for the Bills' championship aspirations. This groundswell of excitement also underscores how influential Shanahan's coaching reputation has become, with many viewing him as a key piece missing from the Bills' puzzle. Although skeptics point out the challenges Shanahan might face adapting to a new environment and different personnel, the prevailing sentiment remains optimistic. This groundswell of enthusiasm reflects how rumors, even without official confirmation, can shape fan expectations and create a charged atmosphere around a team's future. As this rumor continues to circulate, questions remain about the timing and details of any possible agreement. Speculation abounds over whether Shanahan would take on the full offensive coordinator role or assume broader responsibilities within the Bills' coaching staff. Some insiders whisper that contract terms and salary cap considerations could be key hurdles, while others believe that the lure of working with Josh Allen and a talented Bills roster might outweigh financial negotiations. There's also curiosity about how this potential hire would impact the Bills' existing coaching hierarchy and whether it would signal a shift in organizational strategy. The possibility of Shanahan bringing his renowned offensive innovation to Buffalo has already generated enough buzz to shift narratives and expectations for the upcoming NFL season. As more information surfaces, it will be fascinating to see if this rumor solidifies into reality, possibly marking one of the most significant coaching moves in recent years and potentially reshaping the Bills' trajectory as a Super Bowl contender. Fans and analysts alike will be watching closely as this story develops, eager to see if the buzz turns into the next big headline in NFL coaching news. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.